Guys, stick with me through this video, one of the most important videos I have done. There's a lot going around about AI, but this is going to be the real deal. Now, for years, we've been told artificial intelligence was coming, that one day AI would change the economy, change jobs, change business, change everything. Well, guess what? I think that day may already be here, because right now in Australia, something extraordinary is happening behind the scenes, and most people have absolutely no idea. And that's why I'm doing this video for you, so you can be informed. Now, in March this year, Australia suddenly imported billions of dollars worth of advanced computing hardware in a single month. One big drop. Not TVs, not laptops, not PlayStations. We're talking industrial scale AI computing equipment, massive servers, so-called graphics processing units or GPU clusters, chips made by AI giant NVIDIA, data center hardware, the sort of equipment used to train and run advanced AI systems. The numbers were actually so large, they helped push Australia into its first goods trade deficit since 2017. So in March this year, for the first time in 9 years, Australia imported goods more valuable than the entire value of our entire exports. This is massive. Now, why does this matter? Because this could be the clearest sign yet that Australia has begun to enter the AI infrastructure race. A race that could completely reshape the economy, the electricity grid, property markets, and yes, millions of jobs. All of this ties in, guys. Energy is a big part of this. Stick with me through this video. Now, here's the crazy part. At the exact same time Australia is spending billions building AI infrastructure, there's growing evidence AI is already starting to replace parts of the white-collar workforce here in Australia, particularly young people, graduate jobs, junior office jobs, admin work, consulting, media, research, even computer programming is getting smashed. So today I want to show you what's really happening, because I don't think Australians fully understand the scale of what's coming. Let's get into it. So first, let's talk about the monthly trade data. Economists at Westpac released a note analyzing Australia's latest trade figures for the month of March 2026. Now, while they noted a big spike in the value of oil products because of the Middle East conflict and the jump in oil prices, something else stood out in the numbers. Westpac described a truly remarkable surge in imports of something called automatic data processing machines. Now, that might sound boring, but this category includes things like AI servers, high-performance computing systems, GPU clusters, advanced networking hardware, and specialized AI accelerators. In plain English, guys, this is the machinery powering the AI revolution globally. Now, according to Westpac, imports in this category surged by roughly 2.9 billion in just 1 month. 1 month, guys. That's an increase of around 300%. And economist Ryan Wells, who wrote the economic note, specifically linked it to NVIDIA AI chips and large-scale AI computing infrastructure being deployed on Australian shores. The Australian Bureau of Statistics also confirmed Australia had recorded its first goods trade deficit since 2017. Now think about that for a second. Australia is importing so much AI hardware, it's starting to move national economic statistics. That is absolutely extraordinary. Think of all the tons of iron ore, coal, other metals, LNG, rare earths, and farming produce we send overseas each and every day. But in March this year, the value of all that stuff was exceeded by the value of the goods we imported, driven by that AI stuff that we actually imported in. And when you zoom out, the picture becomes even clearer. This isn't just a random expensive shipment of computer equipment. Australia appears to be entering a massive AI infrastructure boom, and there's mounting evidence everywhere. AGL CEO Damien Nicks recently warned proposed AI data centers could massively rewrite Australia's future electricity demand. Current data center electricity usage sits around 5 terawatt hours annually. A terawatt is equivalent to 1 trillion watts of power, basically the amount of power 1 billion people would use if they all decided to heat up their lunch in their microwaves at one time. But if all of the proposed AI projects proceed, demand could explode to around 34 terawatt hours. That's an absolutely enormous increase.
In Australia, the amount of energy consumed by data centres from the national grid is expected to triple by 2030. Rob Hammond warns there are too many data centres in the pipeline in Australia and not enough power.
The bottleneck that we've got at the moment is really the infrastructure that connects the generation in the rural areas to the metropolitan areas.
AI isn't just software, people forget that. AI is physical, it's infrastructure, and it is hungry for electricity. Electricity substations and transformers and other infrastructure, land, vast amounts of water for cooling, fiber networks, and billions of dollars worth of computer hardware. And Australia is suddenly racing to build it. If you live in a big city, you may already have driven past the giant data centers that seem to be popping up everywhere. There are currently around 300 of these things, huge computing factories, and it's estimated that by 2030, there could be another 175 of them. Many are owned by big institutional investors. These are buildings full of nothing but banks and banks of computer servers. This is industrial scale AI deployment, not experimentation. No startups and garages. This is nation-scale infrastructure, and according to analyst McKinsey & Company, Australia could actually become an Asia-Pacific AI computing hub. Why? Because AI infrastructure needs abundant energy, political stability, land, and connectivity. Australia has all four. So what you might be witnessing right now is the birth of an entirely new strategic industry here on Australian shores. But there could be a massive catch. Now, this is where the story gets uncomfortable, because while AI is creating a huge investment boom, it may also be preparing to wipe out large chunks of white-collar employment. And I think this is the part people are underestimating. Historically, when Australians think about automation, they picture robots replacing factory workers. But AI is different. AI is coming for cognitive work, office work, knowledge work, digital work. The exact sort of jobs many young Australians were told were safe, and we're already seeing early evidence of a change. One of the first places this is showing up is consulting. Globally, firms like PwC are aggressively pivoting toward AI-driven service delivery. Thousands of consulting roles have already been cut globally, and internally, staff are reportedly being warned that workers who fail to adapt to artificial intelligence have no future. Now think about what consulting firms traditionally employed big numbers of junior staff to do. They were employed to compile research summaries, prepare PowerPoint presentations, review data, and prepare early drafts of documents for clients. AI is actually very good at doing those tasks right now. It's the same in law firms. Graduates there traditionally compiled case files, prepared uncomplicated briefs, performed legal research, and drafted documents. It's relatively easy now to use AI tools to do all these legal tasks, plus more, and maybe even better, and maybe even faster. Now, industry chatter in Australia increasingly points to reduced graduate hiring, fewer junior analysts and lawyer roles, and slower white-collar recruitment pipelines. Now, does that mean AI replaces everyone tomorrow? No, but it does mean the bottom rung of the ladder may be disappearing first. And that is a huge problem. Because how do people become senior professionals, the top analysts, the King's Counsel, the judges of tomorrow, if the junior jobs all vanish? Now, to be fair, there's another side to this. Firms like Deloitte Australia and PwC argue AI is dramatically increasing productivity. PwC says AI-exposed industries are seeing much faster productivity growth, higher revenue per employee, and wage premiums for AI-skilled workers. In other words, people who know how to use artificial intelligence effectively may become incredibly valuable. And this is where society could split, because workers with AI literacy, technical skills, automation knowledge, or strategic capability may do extremely well. But workers doing repetitive digital tasks, they could be vulnerable. This is especially true for admin workers, clerical staff, junior computer programmers, copywriters, paralegals, and also anyone in basic customer service. That's the contradiction. AI may simultaneously make the economy more productive while making parts of the workforce less necessary. Actually, if you look at what's happening with AI, it follows a familiar historical pattern. Every major industrial revolution followed a similar playbook: huge infrastructure spending up front, massive productivity gains, and major labor disruption. The steam engine did it, electricity did it, computers did it, the internet did it, and now AI appears to be doing it again. The difference this time is the speed, because unlike previous technological revolutions, AI improves itself incredibly quickly. That's why the import numbers matter so much. Those billions of dollars worth of GPUs and AI servers entering Australia, That's not theory anymore. This is happening. This is physical proof that companies based in Australia are betting enormous sums on an AI-driven future. So where does all of this lead? Well, honestly, nobody fully knows yet. Maybe AI creates entirely new industries and jobs we can't currently imagine. Historically, that has often happened. Think about the steam engine. Originally, steam-powered machines were developed to pump water out of coal mines. The idea that you could put a steam engine on an iron track to be used to move goods and large numbers of people came about much later. That in turn created a whole industry where large numbers of people were employed doing everything from building railway bridges and viaducts to conductors clipping tickets. So while AI could create whole new industries we haven't even thought of yet, the transition period could still be very, very messy, particularly for younger workers, graduates, clerical and some customer service staff, and white-collar professionals entering the workforce. And there's another issue nobody talks about enough. If AI dramatically increases productivity but reduces hiring growth, how does that affect wages, consumer spending, housing demand, the housing market, and also how will it affect the broader economy? Because economies don't function on productivity alone, people need incomes. And that's the great unresolved question of the AI age. Will AI create enough new work fast enough to offset the jobs it automates away? Right now, well, the evidence is mixed. But one thing is absolutely clear. Australia's AI boom has already begun. The hardware is arriving. The infrastructure is being built. The electricity demand is exploding. And the economy is starting to reorganize itself around AI. It's happening right now. The big question now is who benefits and who gets left behind. So what is your take and what is your opinion? Is your job likely to be affected by AI, or is that already happening? Do you think AI will cause massive job losses or will barely cause a ripple? Or will artificial intelligence create more jobs than it destroys? Let me know in the comments. I read each and every one. And if you found this video useful, hit like and subscribe. I cover what's happening in the global economy, the local economy, Australia's property market, and all things that affect your money, your future, your financial freedom, so you can make smart decisions for the people you love and you care about. Thanks for watching, and see you at the next video.